Hey everybody, it's Jackie with Jackie's Recent Things. That's right, you get the hands today. Alright, so it's been very popular. People saw me do these pumpkins, so I decided I would record a good tutorial for everybody on how to do them. So you pick your size pumpkin. I got these from Walmart. It has to be a styrofoam pumpkin in order for you to do it this way. If you're able to do it with another material, awesome. But for me, it just works best with the styrofoam. So I got these from Walmart. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pumpkin stem out. And I'm going to take the glob of hot glue out. Just like that. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over on the other side. And I'm going to poke a hole here. I'm going to kind of round it out a little bit. And I'm also going to follow it up with a dowel stick to make the hole a little bit bigger. The dowel stick is about 1/4 inch to make the hole bigger. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my fabric. I've got a yard of fabric here. I'm going to lay my pumpkin sideways, and I'm going to measure just over the center of the stem, where the stem was at, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. Now it's easy with this fabric because I'm going to be able to mark where I'm going to cut. You might have to actually lay yours down to mark it or measure. But since this has got stripes on it, it makes it easy to know where to cut. So now that I've done that, I'm going to open my fabric up. And I'm going to cut the salvage edge off. After I cut the salvage edge off, I'm going to get my hot glue gun out. And I'm going to glue the fabric into one of the dimples of the pumpkin. Now I'm not going to go all the way across. You don't want to go all the way across. You just want to stay at the higher point with your glue. If you go all the way across, when you go to pull your fabric, it won't look right. So I'm just staying there at the higher point. Now always I use my hot glue gun at low temp, especially when you're working with styrofoam, because if you're not careful, you'll melt through the styrofoam. So now I'm going to take my pumpkin and I'm going to roll it forward and measure again, because I don't need the whole yard. And then I'm going to cut it. After I cut it now, I'm going to put a little seam on here. So I'm going to put a little hot glue. Okay, so now I'm going to pull my fabric kind of tight. and then wrap it up my pumpkin. And I'm going to make sure that my pattern, in this case, lines up just like that. And I'm going to put just a little dab of hot glue underneath that, and then put it exactly where I want it. And once I got it exactly where I want it, and it's just easier for me to pull it that way, I'm going to put just a little bit more hot glue underneath the seam. Once again, I'm not going to go all the way across. Just at the high point, basically, of the pumpkin. So it doesn't matter whether you do top or bottom first. But now we're just going to start tucking the fabric in. I like to start with the seam first. And then you're going to gather your fabric to you. And I know this probably shouldn't do this, but this is just what I use because it really like grips. I use my scissors to push it in the hole. And then I gather the fabric to the center of the hole. Be careful that you don't pull too hard on your fabric, because otherwise you'll cut yourself short on the other side. So you want to be, careful that you're not pulling on your fabric like that. Now, if you make your hole too big, you'll have a little bit of a problem gathering your fabric up. So be careful about how big you make your hole, because you kind of want your hole to where you have to push the fabric in like I'm doing. And you just keep kind of pushing until all your fabric is nice and tucked into the hole. And yep, I know. My scissors aren't the most ideal thing, but it works for me. Then we're going to flip around here. Now you can pull a little bit tighter when you do your pumpkin, and that'll get the rest of the wrinkles out and smooth it up. So once again, start gathering your fabric up. Pull it toward the hole. Get it in there with my scissors. Pull that up so I can tuck it. And I think this is the biggest trick to getting it Okay, so now I'm going to double check, make sure everything's all nice and tight, and it is. So now you decide how you want to embellish your pumpkin, because you want to make sure that people can see the dimples. You can either use like cording, bling. I got these at Dollar Tree, so I'm just going to use these. Going to use some lime green rhinestones. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remember that my stem's going to go here. So I'm going to put a little hot glue on the end. And I'm going to put it to the edge. I'm not going to go down in the hole. I'm just going to the edge. Because don't forget, the stem's got to go there. And I'm just going to wrap it down. To the bottom of the pumpkin. And shoot some hot glue down into the bottom of the hole for this one. And then I'm going to push that down into the hole. Let that cool for just a second, because you want this to be tight to show the dimple in your pumpkin. So I'm tracing up the one that's straight across. Then I'm going to cut the rhinestone. And then once again, I'm going to tuck it down in. You're just going to keep doing that all the way around your pumpkin till it's done. And it actually goes pretty quick. Now the reason I tuck these in is because I don't want a big crisscross hump. You can also use your hot glue gun to push that down in there so you're not getting the glue all over your fingers. Depending on the size of your pumpkin, if you get the gem like this, you'll need 2 rolls. And that'll also depend on how much fabric you need. For me to cover this pumpkin, it probably took less than a half a yard. The rhinestones don't seem to hot glue to the rhinestones, so that's why I'm putting glue on the fabric as I come across. And it just occurred to me, I didn't turn the TV off while recording this. I think I'm having my Monday all over again. Actually, if I was having my Monday all over again, I'd be having a better day. I had a pretty good Monday this week. So you don't want to go too far into the hole. Like I said, you're going to put your stem back. And if you don't like the color of your stem, you can just paint it. So now that there's only a couple left, I'm just going to crisscross. So it goes faster. And that will cover up the bottom hole. Now, if you don't like the color of the stem on your pumpkin, don't forget to paint it before you put it back in. But before you put the stem back in, it's going to be too long. So I'm just going to take my wire cutters. I'm going to cut quite a bit of the stem off. Then I'm going to load the hole with some hot glue. Once again, low temp, because if it sinks down in there, it's just going to melt the styrofoam. And I'm going to stick the stem back on top, and there you have it, your glammed out pumpkin. Whoop! to wait till that dries before I tilt it. Or cools, actually. But there you have it, your glammed out pumpkin. Thank y'all for joining me. Bye, y'all.